Rochester Police Department gets Rochester on national news, and surprise, it's not good. And hey, there was a deer on the Genesse River, and guess what? Not good either. Welcome to the Innerloop Blog podcast. My name is Shane Allen. I'll be your host, joined as always by Michael Cologne, fellow Innerloop creator and co-host of this here podcast. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Shane.
Looking good as always.
Yeah, I'm really trying to stick to the same hat.
For the podcast listeners, Michael is currently wearing exactly the same sweater that they wore on the Nebuchadnezzar in The Matrix. So enjoy that. And we have a very special guest today. We have Sam Libutti, one of our fantastic Innerloop writers. Sam,
how's it going, guys?
Hello, Sam.
Sam is you're from Rochester, but you're not living in Rochester currently, right? You are.
Yeah, no, right now I'm in California. Let me just pop on my sunglasses. It's a little sunny here. Hold on. You guys just go surfing without me. Don't worry, I'm a little busy right now. Sorry, my friends are all going surfing on some sharks down at the Pacific Ocean. If you ever heard of it?
Yeah, we can tell from your studio apartment that things are working out.
As you can see, nothing's changed about me. The same old Sam.
It's looking good. All right, so let's just get right into it. Biggest news story of the week. I think we don't even have to choose this one. It was chosen for us by the national news. Three Rochester police officers have been removed from patrol after a 9-year-old girl was handcuffed and pepper sprayed this week. Let's check out this clip here.
9-year-old girl handcuffed and pepper sprayed by police in Rochester, New York. We'll show you the video. I do want to warn you ahead of time. It is disturbing. It happened last week. Police have just, though, released the body camera videos of it. Here is what happened before the pepper spray.
I want my dad!
You're not gonna run off.
I want my dad!
Stop.
I want my dad!
Now, police say the officers were responding to a report of family trouble. They were told this girl was suicidal. They were also told that she wanted to kill her mom. Police say she refused to get in the police car, and at one point she fell down to the ground and kicks an officer. They say they tried numerous attempts to get her in the car before using that pepper spray. We'll show you the events as the pepper spray unfolds. Again, I want to warn you, you may find this disturbing.
Never a good sign when the host has to multiple times tell you that, this could be very disturbing. Like this is a national news outlet.
It's not a fluff piece after that. It's usually something pretty horrible.
Never a good sign.
Yeah. Just sprayer at this point. Dear.
She was taken to the hospital. She was later released. The police department says what happened is not okay. They're going to make sure it doesn't happen again. And here's what Rochester's mayor had.
Official statement. Not okay.
Groundbreaking.
Thanks.
Really dealing with it.
What do you?
Thanks for letting us know.
What a bold stance to take against pepper spraying children.
I know. Is this the police department or my dad? Hey, not okay, bud.
You can't even see your face because of the age. You can't even show it. So that just knows how bad it is.
Yeah.
When you can't even
it's not
fucking show
even
it.
good to show them, let alone to fucking attack them. It's insane.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this video. This is nuts.
I have a 10-year-old daughter, so she's a child. She's a baby. And I can tell you that this video, as a mother, is not anything that you want to see. It's not.
Okay. Listen, I know parents who are very connected to the story, and you guys like to always high road everybody that guess what? This video is not good for human beings to watch. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I wouldn't be able to personally connect with this unless I had a 10-year-old daughter. But since I do, this one's rough. Stop high roading us. We all feel the same way. It's really bad.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone on the other side of this one well, wait a minute. I don't think maybe we should be pepper spraying these kids.
Well,
maybe there are shit. I shouldn't speak so soon.
I don't have a kid, so how can I relate to it?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet Sam. You don't think there's people on the other side?
Yeah, I just realized as soon as I said it, there are probably tons of people on the other side of that.
Have you looked at our comment section?
Yeah, I try to avoid it.
Every local news station that shared this had at least 5 people the to look at the parents. It's all about the
I'm
parents.
sure there's a few choice people from Hilton who have a lot to say about this one.
She wasn't resisting, you know.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Let's just finish this clip here.
We have to understand compassion, empathy.
Now, the Rochester Police Union is defending the officers, saying that they are faced with a difficult situation. They have limited resources to help. And according to local media, the city did recently launch a person in crisis team that's for mental health crises. Well, it was not sent out reportedly because of what was said in the initial 911 call.
All right, so let's get into the story. I mean, just absolutely bonkers that a child was pepper sprayed. I know this is a comedy podcast, and so this is like a pretty heavy shit. So I'm trying to do my best to find the silver linings of this story. So here's just a couple of them for you that I found. First of all, can we at least give RPD credit for not using lethal force? Like it's baby steps, like baby steps. Like obviously not great. We're pepper spraying kids, but could be worse, right? Could be worse.
Yeah, the bar is like at the ground for Rochester Police at this point.
Well, hey, at least they didn't murder them, you know?
See? Like, I'm just saying, it's not great, but could be worse.
Not ideal, yeah.
Also, it looks like there, from the video, I saw it was like a female officer that was like, you know, working that kid over. So, like, you know, empowerment? I don't know. I'm trying to find some goodness in this awful
Shane is just
story.
trying his best to get us all canceled right now.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
I'm trying to find anything good. This is a terrible, terrible story, and this is supposed to be a comedy podcast. But I guess the other silver lining is you gotta give the police union credit for always sticking by their people. You know, like at the end of the story, right? They're just like, the police union is saying there's nothing wrong. Like they always are sticking by it. It's like these Wegmans cashiers have got to learn. You got to unionize, guys. Like, look at the power these people have. They're pepper spraying kids, and they're like, it's, you know, whatever.
Nothing we can do.
Whatevs, right?
Our bad. LOL.
I mean, I'm not a policing expert. I'm a fat guy that writes, you know, shitty fake news and dumbs.
Hey, me too.
Crappy memes, and I have a communications degree. I don't know anything about mental health, but I don't understand how the police are so bad at de-escalating situations. I just don't. It's like they're programmed to escalate. I just don't. I don't get it. What do you guys have any idea why our police are so bad at de-escalating things?
Oh man,
I don't think they're trained to de-escalate personally. I just have never been in experience or seen a situation with RPD where they actually de-escalate it. They come in quick, like just fucking aggressive, start screaming, pushing people away. Like I had to call the cops one time when I worked at Starbucks because someone had a seizure. So like the cops, the ambulance showed up, and the cops came in and just started shoving people with lattes out of the way, like completely unnecessary.
Well, to be fair though, that's how people act at Starbucks in general thow. They're just always shoving their way to the front of the line. Karen, is there a Karen here?
Venti, grande.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think the whole situation is just dog shit, and I mean, what kills me is there's like 7, 8 giant police officers, like
9.
None of them.
9 on the
and they
scene.
can't get a little, like an 11-year-old girl. They can't detain her. They have to fucking pepper spray her. That is the most bonkers shit I've ever heard. Like, I don't understand that.
In the car too, like, but they had her in the car and then they pepper sprayed her.
Close the doors.
So it's
Close
like
the fucking doors.
It's clearly like retaliation because the kid was kicking him, right? And you have to be better than that. Like I'm not better than that. Okay. I was a summer camp counselor for all of my life, and kids kicked me. They spit on me. They called me fat. They called me Gaylord. And yes, I'm ashamed to admit it. I'd find a way to get back at them later in the day. You know, maybe.
You're admitting to us that you pepper spray children, Shane?
I mean,
I didn't coming out with it.
I wish I had some, but no, I was giving them less snacks. You know, it wasn't like anything super aggro. But I'm saying I'm a little bit vindictive, but I'm not a cop. You shouldn't be doing that. I also enjoyed that the police unit at the end of the story was like, listen, they got limited resources. That's why this happened. Limited. That's what we were all thinking, was like, you know what the cops need? More pepper spray? Like, what the fuck are you? There was 9
looking
people.
over their inventory, like, oh, we're low on a lot of stuff in here. We better go pepper spray some kids. Like, what is the relation?
I don't know. You got 9 people on the scene.
Yeah.
Limited resources.
Seems like there's a lot of resources.
What do you?
Isn't that
what
what
do
they
you
said
want?
Isn't that what they said for Daniel Prude? It's like the same script, like limited resources. What else are we supposed to do? We did the right thing. Like it's a fucking joke.
You guys have like military surplus stuff. Like, what do you need? Like, you guys have like armored vehicles, and what do you need, RPD, for you to be able to show up to a scene and not pepper spray a kid? Please tell us. Is it popsicles? Like, what do you want? I just don't. I don't get that. It's frustrating as hell. But so like you said, we're not experts. You know, we write on a fake news blog, but seeming that the RPD can't figure this out, our mayor can't figure this out, let's just give it a shot. I want to know, Sam and Michael, how would you take care of this situation?
Well, I'm really glad we got a couple of local comedians on the case so we can finally get this solved.
Yes.
I think that's what everyone's been waiting for, is us to chime in and let everyone know. I feel like first order of business, right, is just flat out don't pepper spray children ever in any situation. Just in general. I think we start there and then grow.
Okay. All right. But even if a kid is asking for it? I don't know. We should rule that
At this
out.
point, I feel like asking the police not to attack people is like not working. At this point, I think we got to start working defense. Get some like child visors that we can distribute to all the elementary schools, stuff like that. Because just asking them not to doesn't seem to work.
No, I think that somebody is working on legislation right now that you cannot pepper spray children, which is, once again, just like one of those things you find out, you're like, that's not a law. You know? It's like, hey, we're like,
oh God, we got to fill this in.
We're working a bill right now.
No murdering.
We're working a bill right now through Albany that you can't, disembowel your dog and put it out in your yard. Oh, that's not a thing yet? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, let's definitely do that. Here's my solution. Since there's clearly any idea is a good idea at this point. We got a serious issue. I think we need smaller cops. I think that's one of the main issues. These people roll up to the scene and they have this. They're intimidating, right? We're intimidated by them. These are usually pretty staunch dudes that played varsity sports here in Rochester. And yes, they didn't go elsewhere, and they want to get a pension. I get it, guys. I get it. But you guys are too stocky. You're too tall. You got a gun. We need smaller police. So I am calling for right now, we need a Rochester police force completely filled with dwarfs. And I don't know if that is the word. I think that's the word. I tried to look it up, I was like, hey,
that's not the word, then what is?
I was like, what's the word that's okay to say? Little people? I don't know. That's what they call all their TLC shows. I just don't know. But I'm trying
Small
to get
gentlemen.
And if you want to cancel me, that's fine. But I'm trying to get you guys jobs. I'm trying to get an entire police force to you guys. I'm not saying that you guys you can't take care of business. I know that you can. I've seen you guys wrestle. Okay. I want the entire police force made out of dwarfs. And I think that will de-escalate situations. Michael, beat Dwarf Police.
My idea is if we establish the city of Rochester as one giant Wegmans, we'll never have to worry about it again. Because if there's one thing we know about cops at Wegmans, they don't do anything. People walk in and out of that store with no mask on, and they don't do shit. So if there's crimes happening, mental health, they're just not going to do anything. They're going to stand there. They're going to shake hands with the regulars who come in for coffee. And I think we will solve it. Will there be a lot more crime that's not solved or being stopped? Of course. But I mean, at this point, it seems like RPD is committing more crimes than the actual criminals.
So Rochester, it just becomes an entire Wegmans, is what you're saying.
Yeah, just labeled it a Wegmans, and then we're good to go, I think. Or, I mean, if it's not already technically labeled a Wegmans, I think it's all people know about us. Rochester is known for two things at this point nationally, garbage plates and racial injustice. Like, that is the two things we got going for us. We're being tweeted about by garbage plates or the cops. Like,
equally important topics.
Yeah, equal. Yeah.
I mean, I would just say the injustice part. I feel like people still don't know about like the garbage plates. That's why every comedian that comes to town has to do a 10-minute bit up front, about it. Jim Gaffigan, gets hero status in Rochester because he just mentions it. Just saying.
Yeah.
That's the real.
It's the only city where you can just eat one food and everyone will be like, "Oh, he's one of us."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Shane drunkenly starts a live stream of him eating a garbage plate. No one cares. Like, fuck Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah. Like, he actually eats that stuff. He's rich. He's rich. He's eating the poor now. All right. So on from that really light-hearted story onto another one. Second biggest story in Rochester, I'd say this week, is the story of the deer. Did you guys get this in your feed? The deer that was trapped on the Genesee River?
I never heard about it, but I really haven't seen anything on it, to be honest.
It sounds riveting.
All right, we'll pull up the story from Channel 10.
This morning, a deer that was stuck on the ice in the Genesse River in downtown Rochester has been euthanized. I'm so upset over this. This happened on the river. DC officials tell us they heard about the deer around 6:30 last night, but if you're like me, you heard about the stranded deer for days. It'd been photographed and talked about on social media. Rochester police and firefighters were also called because someone tried to rescue the deer. Officials tell us the ice on the river was unstable and there was no safe way to reach it. That's when they decided to humanely put it down.
These were the funniest stories you can think of to talk about, Shane.
Listen, man, it's Rochester news. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
I thought it was gonna be like funny.
I mean,
deers on the river, and we saved him. But
I never said it was gonna be the funniest stories. I said it was gonna be the biggest stories in Rochester, and this is what we got. We got pepper spray, and we got dead.
You know what? Fuck it. I say we start pepper spraying the deers. Fuck it, get them all. The deers have had it for too long.
There has to be a better solution than shooting a deer on the river. There can't be. Dude, I don't. They don't say what it is, right? They say they humanely put down the deer, which means they shot the deer in the head.
They didn't send someone in there with an injection thing to slowly ease him into death. That's not how it works.
This wasn't a mice of men situation. They didn't tell the deer about the carrots and then put it down. They shot the deer in the head. It's just
right in the face.
I'm going to go on the record and say if that was a dog, they would have done every fucking thing within their power to save that dog.
Oh, yeah, they'd have a helicopter swooping in.
About the hot helicopter, ladder, SWAT team. You're telling me there's no way to get that deer? That's bullshit, dude.
To just lift a deer. That's all they had to do. Was just find a way to lift up a deer.
I mean,
and they killed it.
Maybe, but also the cops kill dogs all the time. If a dog is just rowdy when they go to a house call, they'll just kill the dog. And
how rowdy could this deer be, though? Was it really just acting up, causing trouble?
It was just they put it down because they were worried that people were going to go out and try to save it and then get killed in the Genesee River. They could pepper spray those people then. I mean, solution, right? Just pepper spray the people trying to save the deer. It's a win-win. You get to still assault humans and then you can kill the deer later. RPD's fine. So here's a couple things that I was thinking about during this whole thing. This story definitely proves once and for all that lion escaping from the zoo story when the protests were happening last year, that was fake. This deer was everywhere. Everybody was putting out pictures of this deer and there was live streams of the deer and everybody was calling for somebody to help. Eventually, two guys did get together and try to help this deer out. I listened to their story. One guy climbed down and then kind of shooed the deer, and they were on the news as heroes, right? These two dudes the day before they put down this deer, which obviously
they did a great job because the deer's dead.
You did it, amazing. They're so the way he described it too was we just kind of shoot it to where we thought the exit was. Oh, the exit. The river, just hey, this feels about right, and then boom, the deer's dead. I appreciate those two dudes taking credit for a job that's not done. I do that all the time. It is the Rochester way. I don't know, man. I'm an animal loving guy. I'm the fattest vegetarian in Rochester. That's what everybody calls me, and there just has to be a better way. If we can't rescue this deer, what if somebody falls into there what is the plan then? Do we also just put them down so like nobody else will go save them? I just don't get, like, the police were there, the fire department was there, and the DEC was there, and nobody had a better idea than let's kill it.
Shoot it.
Because I mean, I don't know this. I'm guessing they had to then pull the body out, right? Because I mean, we're just gonna kill the deer and then just let it float. You got a deer ice cube all winter. You know, wouldn't is that your solution? Is to all the people working downtown? Oh, just have to look at a deer decompose every day they're working. I don't get that. So you clearly had to pull it out at some point. I just don't get it. What else is going on? You had enough manpower to spare. You couldn't figure out we're on the national news right now as a police department for pepper spraying a 9-year-old. I'm just saying, if I'm the PR director, I'm getting on the phone with everybody like, we need some good press here. Let's
don't kill the deer.
Kill the deer? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Like,
sorry, you cut out a little bit. Did you say just beat the shit out of the deer?
Well, we're not close enough to hit it, so let's just get a gun and hopefully, we'll get Applebee's, whoever gets the first shot.
I mean,
God damn it.
Once again, clearly the people in charge have no goddamn idea about doing anything. So, and I'm going to put it to you guys once again. The Innerloop's going to solve Rochester. That's what this podcast is about. We're going to fix Rochester one comedy podcast at a time. So what would you guys do in this situation? I'll tell you my solution. You guys tell me what you think. I would go, what is it? The lady that swallowed the fly? Is that kid's story, right? Where she swallows the fly and then she swallows a frog to eat the fly. I forget what the order is. But you guys know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea I don't think I know what you're talking about. It sounds like you're having like a fever dream, like hallucination right now.
There's a kid's story.
Eat the fly, and then eat the frog, and then eat the fly.
I'm telling you, this is a kid's story. And this is why I'm morbidly obese, because this was what I read. It was like a lady swallowed a fly. So she had to eat a frog to eat the fly. And then she ate a snake to eat the frog. And it like gets up to like a hippopotamus. Like this lady's like dead for sure. She's ate so much animal. And so this is my idea, right? We got a Seneca Park Zoo. We got a lot of critters that are just sitting around, not doing anything right now. I don't know. Do they have visitors? I'm not sure. Anyways, they're just sitting around. Let's get some freaking animals on the river to chase this deer out. We get, what is a predator? A wolf? We got gray wolves. Put a wolf down there to get the deer. Then we get the lion to get the wolf. Then we just keep on building and building. All of a sudden, we got a whole menagerie on the Genesee River. We got people coming downtown again. We got tourism. I'm just saying, let's get some more animals out on that river. No? All right. Listen, guys, I'm just spitballing here.
You put so much passion into that speech. I mean, I didn't want to.
Yeah, I was moved.
I know that you guys were just imagining a lion on the Genesse River, and that's you guys were enthralled by that idea, and that's why you guys weren't reacting to me. I think it's a great idea.
Can I play
that
devil's
story
advocate?
is not a real story.
Sure,
How do we know
Sam.
that this deer didn't have it coming? How do we know this deer didn't deserve it? I met some real douchey deers. All right. He might have just been a real prick. I don't know.
Listen, I know that the Western New York deer is it's just not a smart animal, but they're smart. He would have figured it out. Like it got there somehow. It would have wandered back at some point. So yeah, I mean the blame here is on all the people that were just trying to help. Like I get you want to be like, oh, somebody help this, but then basically the police department and the DEC, by killing this deer, has declared we're too stupid to do anything, because they're like, Rochester is so dumb that like 20 people are gonna die trying to save this deer.
Yeah, 100 people can't drag a deer out of a river. All of our best and brightest people couldn't get together.
Everyone could have hold hands, like, and linked, just like one and dragged it out.
Hands across America style.
We could have come together as a community. Like the Rochester Nighthawks just canceled their season. We couldn't get those fucking bros to come on down there with some lacrosse sticks and kind of work this deer out. They're not doing shit. They're getting paid lots of money. Come on. Rochester Red Wings couldn't do anything.
Should have just left it in the river and it could have been like our thing. It's like, oh, you guys want to go check out the river deer? And you just hang there, and we'd just be like, our little mascot.
That's fine. Yeah, this becomes an annual tradition, right? Yeah. Like we go, it's like the village. We got
toss rings on its
we stick a deer on the river and we place bets on, where it's going to go out or if it's going to go out. It becomes a whole thing. Like I know that Fairport, they do their rubber ducky race on the Erie Canal. Fucking let's go with a deer race. Let's embrace it instead of killing everything. Why do we got to kill everything?
I think what kills me about this story is like the RPD had a perfect story to like kind of distract everyone from like the pepper spray, and they could have like dragged the shit out. Yeah, they could have dragged it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, let's have this keep going to make people forget about that.
Like
and
Baby
then like,
Jessica.
no, let's just shoot it. Let's shoot it and remind people that we're still aggressive pieces of shit who just don't know how to control themselves. I'm a big fan of what I would have done is I would just poured like gallons and gallons of Jenny cream ale, because everyone knows the piss-like warmness of it would have melted everything and the deer would have been free to run around and get out. That's my solution. Our hands across America.
I like that you, in your scenario, you could never chill Genesee beer. Like it is adverse from refrigeration. Like it's
always lukewarm no matter what.
Mike, you can put it in the fridge. You know that, right?
It was on Mythbusters. You assume I have a fridge, Shane. It's a lot of assumptions going on here.
All right. My question to you guys is, we had a Rochester animal story, so I want to know, what is your worst animal encounter that you've had in Rochester? Michael, do you want to start us off?
The worst one I can think of is when I lived on Park Avenue for a while, my car kept getting broken into. And so like I'd come into my car and like all the papers would be spread everywhere. I was really pissed because I was like, what the fuck? I assumed, people said it was homeless people. It happened. So I blocked my doors and it kept happening. And so I freaked out and it happened 3 times. And the 4th time it happened, I opened up my car door and like 3 to 4 squirrels ran out of my car. I had been leaving my windows open. It was during the summer and it was under the trees and squirrels had just been coming my car and devastating it. And then the worst part is I realized why is because I bought some oatmeal from Wegmans and it popped open and just there's dried oatmeal underneath my car seats.
Dude, I'm having a fucking party.
Jesus Christ.
The squirrel orgy in Cologne's car.
What are you doing living in the city and leaving your windows cracked? Like,
with a car full of oatmeal? What the fuck was wrong?
I know, man.
The whole bottle was full of oatmeal, okay? Like, I like oatmeal, but like, apparently they do too. But like,
this sounds like
girls came running out of the car.
This honestly sounds like an internet fetish that I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get a young boy living in the city, fill a car filled with oatmeal. Just let him roll around.
Squirrels all over his body.
A couple of woodland critters.
Oatmeal Squirrels is going to be the name of my next rock band career.
I'm just saying, Michael, if you park your car in the city and you roll your windows down when you want to commit insurance fraud, because somebody will come along and steal your car, and then you just go, "Oh, I didn't know. I thought I left oatmeal in there." That's just what you do. Like, you don't. It's silly, Michael. Sam, do you have any encounters?
I know a crazy story. It's not a Rochester story, but it's the craziest animal story I have, and it happened like a month ago. So we have like this big ass park, right, Golden Gate Park here, and I was going to just go take like a leisurely walk or whatever. And as soon as I like walked in, and I wasn't even that far from like the road, and it was like 3 p.m. or whatever, I saw a mountain lion and a fucking coyote hanging out in the park. And I instantly turned around and fucking left. And the guy behind me, like, we didn't say any words to each other. We just both like dipped out of there. So there's like a non-zero chance that you all could have gotten a call that I was eaten by a coyote and a mountain lion.
Oh, they were just chilling together?
I couldn't figure out, like, they weren't like right next to each other, but they were like both kind of in the same vicinity.
So you're definitely writing a screenplay right now about a buddy,
like a Homeward Bound style buddy thing where Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know who would have called us. Like, who's gonna call Shane?
I don't know. Like, my girlfriend's just like, "Someone get Michael Cologne on the phone right now."
We're just gonna be like, "Wow, it's weird. Sam hasn't made a couple memes in a few months. All right,
and then you forget about
and
me.
then that would have been the end of our story with you."
Yeah, we definitely would have been invited to a Remembering Sam Libutti Facebook group, and probably contemplated not accepting. I got.
I got enough notifications.
That is one of the pluses of Rochester. It's like squirrel and deer. You know, those are the things you're gonna run into here. Like every once in a while in Rochester, we get a black bear that somehow like snuck into somebody's backyard, and they never kill it. They always tranquilize it and put it out somewhere else. Apparently, you got to get it.
Yeah, the bear apparently isn't a threat to the society like the deers are.
For me, I seem to have. Suicidal birds are just attracted to me. I don't get it. When I was living in Irondequoit, I had a family of birds hatch in my shed, and they then proceeded to get stuck in my bicycle spokes that I was storing in there, and then they just kind of grew into them and died. So that was a very upsetting day to me. I was like, I'm going to go for a bike ride. It's a nice sunny day. And I pulled it out, and there was just 4 birds just like dead inside of it. God. So that was a stinky day. I did give him a funeral, by the way. Then I had another bird get into the duct system of my house, and then got into my furnace and died. Burnt up in my furnace. One day.
You cursed?
One day I was just like, me and my wife were just like, it's kind of like, it smells not great, but it's not bad in the basement right now. And it was because we were cooking a bird in our furnace. Don't do that. If RG&E shuts off your heat, bird is not the way to go to get your heat back on. But then just this week, I had a bird stuck in my garage, and it was just flying as fast as it could into the hardest part of my wall. We have like a little piece of brick in my wall, and it was just flying as hard as it could into that. So yeah, my life is The Happening, but with birds. And I know that is a reference for 4 people that actually watched that movie, but that's my life. So those are the 2 biggest news stories of the week. Funniest? No, but the biggest
comedy podcast, baby. That's what we got.
You gotta find the
barrel of laughs over here.
But I'm like squirrels and oatmeal, and Sam's like, I saw a scary wolf, and Shane's like dead birds all the time.
I mean, they say comedy is tragedy plus time, and we don't have good timing. That's what we've learned from the blog.
There's not enough time.
But so let's get a little less rough. We like to ask our guests, what is the most Rochester thing you've done this week? So Sam, this is an interesting one. You're the first person we've had that is from out of town. You know, you're living in the old Hollywood now. You're smoking doobs with coyotes and having rough sex with mountain lions. So what is the most Rochester thing you've done? Like what is like you're like, oh, there's still Rochester inside.
Oh, I have a pretty good one. Okay. So about a year ago, I had my mom, this is like the fattest fucking thing I could ever say. I had my mom mail me like all of the like sauces that I like from Rochester that I can't get here. So boss sauce, country sweet, a bunch of different like jarred meat hot sauces, right? A bunch of them exploded in the package, by the way.
Oh.
But this was like a year ago. And so recently I got pizza this past week, and I was like just rummaging into the back of my refrigerator for this old like boss sauce that had been shipped to me like a year ago. And I smelled it, and to me, it smelled all right. I had my girlfriend smell it. She doesn't know what the fuck boss sauce is. Yeah. And to be honest, I feel like expired boss sauce can't be that much worse for you than normal boss sauce.
I mean, yeah, it's just
so
vinegar,
I fucking
right?
used it. I ate it, and it was delicious. So that's got to be the most Rochester thing I've done.
I mean, yeah, when wine is bad when it starts smelling like boss sauce, right? Like like it starts smelling vinegary. So yeah, I don't know.
You know that old saying, it aged like a fine boss sauce.
It's always boss sauce does not age well because it gets that ring on it on the jar, and it's got that film. Like it turns into a skin. Just weird.
Yeah.
They need a
I feel like they sell it already like bad. Like it's already sold kind of expired.
That's like the placenta of boss sauce. It's got a lot of nutrients in it.
You gotta eat it afterwards. It's in a ritual.
You gotta eat it afterwards.
Michael, what's the most Rochester thing you did this week?
So I'm not sure if this is the most Rochester or just the most sociopath thing to do, but like when that snowstorm started coming down like really badly this week around 5 p.m., I just had this feeling. I was like, I really want to drive in this. And so I went out and I drove around, and I ended up going to see my girlfriend. But I feel like that's a Rochester thing where we're just like, snowstorms are cool. I really want to just drive in the middle of it. It's like the Wild West. Have you ever been on Monroe Ave during a snowstorm? There's no rules. Like people are sliding through red lights. You're just trying to like hope no one slides into you, back windows aren't brushed off. I love it. And that just might be me. I might be a sociopath.
Are you,
it feels Rochester.
by any chance, part bird? Because that sounds like you're suicidal, and I feel like you're going to end up in my garage with your car on or something. Because
Cooking in your furnace.
I've never looked at a snowstorm and been like, I
garage.
need to get out in there. No, the Rochester thing is to hunker down, drink milk, eat lots of bread, have sex, have a kid in 9 months. That's the Rochester way.
You just looked out the window and you're like, I need to be in a moving vehicle right now. Like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with
That's how I felt. I was like, this looks like fun. I had FOMO, you know?
Mike's like, oh man, I left my windows down. I gotta go get out in my car and I gotta get my cold oatmeal that I got in my glove compartment. For me,
delicacy in some places.
I had a 3 Wegmans day. I had a 3 Wegmans day this week, and I'm not happy about it. I went to the Chile Wegmans. I went to the one on Empire Boulevard. I went to the one on East Ave. So it was 3 different Wegmans. It just doesn't feel good. It does not feel good seeing that pop up into your credit card account on the 3rd day. And it's really disappointing that they don't call, like the credit card company doesn't call you and like, not just for fraud, just to like make fun of you. I just wish that they like Chase would call me and be like, are you serious? Really? You went there for breakfast and you went back there twice in 1 hour. Are you insane? I just wish that I would get roasted more by a credit card company. So we got only a minute left here in the podcast. So before it wraps up, I just wanted to say, thank you, Sam, for stopping by. Thank you, Michael, for joining us as always. Well, we got a minute left. There's just a couple of things to talk about with the podcast itself. Thank you for tuning in. If you're listening in, if you know people, share this with them. And it's on Patreon now. It is all free. Eventually we're going to move it into it being a monthly subscription, but it's only gonna be $5. We might even do a $2 one. It's very little money, but then we get to hide behind the paywall, and I don't have to worry about Tom Golisano suing me because I want to talk about how Paychex is a cult. You know, like that's the joy of that. Also, we don't have to try and get sponsors. You don't want to hear the Innerloop sponsored by the RPD. That's not what you want to hear. So that's the advantage of the Patreon. So the other complaint that I have is we have a lot of dudes roasting us on the Innerloop Facebook page. And I have to say, go for it. I love it. I'm a cuck, abuse me. I want to hurt. That's fine. Here's the thing though. You just have to know, you guys seem silly. You're making fun of us. You're like, oh, these people live in their mom's basement. That's fine. You can have whatever image you want of us, but just know we love it. We love it. It's engagement, silly goose. If you don't like something, you don't engage with it. You just ignore it. Anywho, also with the podcast so far, people seem to be confused by it mostly, but also it seemed to be liking it. There was one lady though that commented.
I'm confused by it.
There was one lady that was like, so if this doesn't have video clips, it's just going to sound like a radio show. Yes, that's a podcast. That is literally what a podcast is. And to be fair, Michael agreed with her. Michael, just to break down the fourth wall and everything, Michael and I are in charge of the Facebook accounts. We're the ones that comment on stuff. So if you see like a fun GIF, right, as a reply, that's me. If it's a personal attack, it's Michael Cologne, okay? And so for some reason, Michael is like hard agree with this lady.
I just like to fuck with him.
Michael believes in this podcast so much, he's agreeing with people that don't like it. Also, he has not even shared this podcast with anybody on his social feeds. So it's nice. One day, 100% of the hosts of the show will share this podcast. We're going to get there one day. I guess, Sam, Mike, I open up the floor to you. Do you guys have any complaints about the Innerloop? Do you have any personal attacks you want to submit against anybody in the comment section?
Yeah. Can I say, Shane was saying it was fine to attack us because of the engagement. Please don't attack me. I'm very sensitive. I'm like a small child. I need to be swaddled. Like, do not say anything mean about me at all.
See, now you're
only
opening
nice
it up.
Comments.
Now you're opening
it up.
Yeah,
I know I am. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say I love it too. I love seeing the comments mainly because I respond to them. I like just sending mixed messages like I did with that lady. But I think my favorite thing right now is I wanted to read a comment. I think this could be the best comment of the year so far. I mean, of the years in general. I love it. So it was on the article, Rochester man certain running in blizzard on busy road provides the best workout. This is the comment. The fattest, laziest. Oh, yeah. The fattest, laziest, beer guzzling, gas emitting, Big Mac loving, low carb Rochesterians love to show how unfit and low conscientious they are in this comment section. That is a chef's kiss of a comment. You win something. Our approval, which means literally nothing. But thank you.
That was like a Walt Whitman poem. It was beautiful.
That comment may have gotten more likes than the actual post. And to be quite honest, it might deserve it because that comment is fucking incredible. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Well, I mean, that I guess you can like that comment. I don't. So you enjoy having dudes run in the road? Then I just don't know who you're defending, sir. We got to write an article about how Rochester refuses to walk on sidewalks in the winter. It's an epidemic here. It's insane.
Car privilege talking right there.
But
the sidewalks are trash.
Dude, I've worked in the city. I saw they plowed them and everybody was still walking in the road. And not even like the good part of the road. There was still like slush. I don't get it. But that's going to do it for the podcast today. Once again, thank you to Sam for stopping by, Michael Cologne for once again wearing his hat. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for reading our stupid blog and hating us in the comments section. We'll see you there this week. See ya.
We love it. Bye.
Bye.